Chapter 2. The Invisible Man. Read the story about a man who can become invisible even without using a magic cloak. The stranger with the bandages on his face went into the little parlor of the Coach and Horses Lodge at about 5:30 a.m. He remained there until midday, the doors and windows shut. No one knew what he did there and nobody dared to go near him. All that time he must have eaten nothing. 3 times he rang his bell, the third time, loudly and continuously, but no one answered him. Now and then, people heard him walk up and down, and twice they heard a loud smashing of bottles. The little group of scared but curious people increased. Inside, in the darkness of the parlor, the stranger sat hidden in his long coat, hat and dark glasses. About noon, he suddenly opened the parlor door and shouted, "Mrs. Hall." Mrs. Hall appeared. "Why haven't you prepared my meals and answered my bell?" the man asked. "Why isn't my bill paid?" asked Mrs. Hall. "I told you 3 days ago I was waiting for my money. I told you 2 days ago I wasn't going to wait for any money. If my bills aren't paid, you can't complain about your breakfast, can you? I suppose I may have some money in my pocket." "I wonder where you found it," said Mrs. Hall. That seemed to annoy the stranger very much. "What do you mean?" he asked angrily. "That I wonder where you found it," said Mrs. Hall. "And before I do anything else, you have to tell me 1 or 2 things I don't understand. I want to know how your room was empty when no one saw you go out, and how you got in again. And I want to know." Suddenly, the stranger raised his gloved hands and yelled, "Stop," with such anger that she stopped talking at once. "You don't understand who I am," he said. "I'll show you." Then, he put his hand over his face and pulled off something. "Here," he said and gave it to her. When she saw what it was, she screamed loudly and dropped it. It was the stranger's nose. The false nose, pink and shining, lay on the floor. Then, the stranger took off his dark glasses. He took off his hat, his mustache and his bandages. Everyone was shocked. It was worse than they had expected. All at once, everyone began to move. Shouting and screaming, they ran to the door. The man who stood there was nothing. No visible thing at all. The news spread quickly and a crowd collected in front of Mrs. Hall's lodge. In the middle of all this arrived Mr. Bobby Jaffers, the constable. Jaffers marched up the steps, straight to the parlor. The headless figure sat facing him. "What's all this?" asked a voice from above his collar. It was the strangest thing in the world to hear a voice coming out as if from empty space. Jaffers simply brought out a pair of handcuffs. "Head or no head, I've got to arrest you," said Jaffers. "But why am I being arrested?" asked the stranger. "Money has been stolen from a house. And the situation certainly points to you," replied Jaffers. "Nonsense," said the invisible man. "I hope so, sir. But I've got my instructions." "Very well," said the stranger, "I'll come. But no handcuffs." The invisible man sat down. He slipped out of his shoes, socks and trousers. Then he jumped up again and flung off his coat. "Stop that!" cried Jaffers, suddenly realizing what was happening. He gripped the stranger's waistcoat. They struggled, and Jaffers was left holding the empty waistcoat in his hands. "Hold him," said Jaffers loudly to those around. "Once he gets the things off." "Hold him," cried everyone. They all rushed towards the white shirt, the only thing that remained on the stranger. But in a moment the shirt was lifted up and off. Now, nobody knew where the stranger stood. "Look out," said everybody, hitting about in the air, "don't let him loose." But it was no use. The Invisible Man had escaped. An extract from The Invisible Man by H. G. Wells. Herbert George Wells, 1866 to 1946, was an English writer, best known for his work in science fiction. He is sometimes called the father of science fiction and shares his title with another famous author, Jules Verne. His most notable science fiction works include The War of the Worlds, The Time Machine, and The Island of Dr. Moreau. New words. Parlor, a room in a home for receiving visitors, living room. Annoy, irritate. Constable, a policeman. The situation certainly points to you. The situation points to the fact that you are responsible. Handcuffs, two metal rings joined by a short chain, which lock around a prisoner's wrists. Waistcoat, a short coat without sleeves, worn under a man's jacket or coat. Understanding the lesson. A. State if the following sentences are true or false. 1. The stranger was feeling hungry. 2. The stranger made a lot of noise while he was in the parlor. 3. Mrs. Hall was very happy with the stranger as a guest in her house. 4. The stranger pulled off his bandages and gave them to Mrs. Hall. 5. Jaffers brought a pair of handcuffs with him when he visited the stranger. 6. The Invisible Man refused to believe that he had anything to do with the robbery. B. Answer the following questions. 1. Why were the group of people at the lodge scared and curious? 2. Why did Mrs. Hall not answer when the stranger rang the bell? 3. What made the stranger react with anger? 4. It was worse than they had expected. Why and how was it worse? 5. Why did Jaffers want to arrest the Invisible Man? Vocabulary Zone. Here are given meanings of some words. Find out the words from the box below and write in the space provided against each meaning. Nomadic, impression, judicial, treacherous, strange, ambience, loath, dwindle, peaceful, writhe. 1. Moving from place to place. 2. Dangerous. 3. Surroundings. 4. Wriggle. 5. Calm. 6. To hate. 7. Weird. 8. To fade out. 9. Mark left behind by a person. 10. Related to courts and law. Grammar fun. Read these sentences. Stop that, cried Jaffers. Jaffers ordered him to stop what he was doing. The first sentence is in direct speech. The second sentence is in indirect or reported speech. Direct speech is what a person actually says. Indirect speech is how we convey what someone says to others. The verbs change tense when direct speech is written as indirect speech or reported to someone else. Direct speech, indirect speech. Present simple tense, write. Past simple form, wrote. Present continuous is writing. Past continuous was writing. Present perfect tense has written, have written. Past perfect had written. Present perfect continuous tense has been writing, have been writing. Past perfect continuous had been writing. Past simple tense wrote. Past perfect had written. Past continuous were writing. Past perfect continuous had been writing. The pronouns also change when direct speech is changed to indirect speech. I, he, she. Me, him, her. Mine, his, hers. My, his, her. We, they. Us, them. Our, their. Ours, theirs. You, they, them. your, their, yours, theirs. Look at some other changes. This, that. These, those. Here, there. Today, that day. Tomorrow, the next day. Yesterday, the day before. A. Complete these sentences in indirect speech. 1. The bananas are too ripe. Mother said that the bananas were too ripe. 2. I will go cycling tomorrow. Nandita said. 3. Tarun, I have met you before. Usha claimed. 4. I have replied to grandma's the letter. Sunita said. 5. This road is well paved. The engineer knew. 6. The tiger roared angrily at me. Girish said. B. Work in pairs. Ask your partner these questions and note down the answers in direct speech. After you have finished the questions, report what you have learnt about your partner. 1. What is your favorite sport? Direct speech, Prateek said, my favorite sport is cricket. Indirect speech, Prateek said that his favorite sport was cricket. 2. How did you spend your last vacation? 3. What kind of music do you like? Have you always listened to that kind of music? 4. How do you celebrate your birthday? Listening time. Listen to the following words and form one sentence from each word. 1. Crying. 2. Laughing. 3. Climbing. 4. Do. 5. Picking. Speak well. Read these sentences. Jafar's money has been stolen from a house. And the situation certainly points to you. The invisible man, nonsense. Here, the invisible man disagrees with Jafar's in a clearly rude manner. Here are some polite ways of disagreeing with someone. I'm sorry, but I don't agree with what you just said. I'm afraid I have to disagree. I don't think that's quite correct. I can't agree with you there. When disagreeing, the speaker normally also offers a reason for his or her opinion. Work in pairs. Take turns to disagree with the persons in these situations. 1. You and your friend are talking about a football match you just watched on TV. 2. Your mother wants you to help your sister complete her project. Write well. The main aim of a speech is to convey information to the audience in an interesting way. These are the main points you must keep in mind when you write a speech. Be very clear about what you are saying. Your sentences should be simple, clear and short. You should pause at the correct places. A good speech should have an introduction, a body and a conclusion. Once you finish writing your speech, check the grammar and the language of the speech. Decide how to address your audience, that is, ladies and gentlemen, and so on. Ensure that you have used personal language, that is, I, you, we and us. Ensure that you have included some questions so that your listeners are encouraged to think. Imagine that you live in the town where the invisible man has been blamed for a robbery. Your teacher has asked you to make a short speech at the school assembly on how to reduce crimes in your town. Write the speech in your notebook. You can use these words to support and highlight the facts. Also, furthermore, in addition to, in the same way, moreover, I would like to add, above all, particularly, you will note, especially, not only, but also, no sooner than, neither did he nor did he. Tree blessing. Grandmother often said, "Blessed is the house upon whose walls the shade of an old tree softly falls." We had no tree near our cottage, so I planted one last spring. It's 6 months old now and growing fast. In 6 years' time, there will be a blessing. Ruskin Bond. Poetry appreciation. 1. What does grandmother often say? 2. Why does grandmother say an old tree? 3. Why did the poet place a tree near his cottage? Tick the correct answer. A. There was no tree near the cottage. B. The poet loved trees. C. The poet's grandmother told him to plant the tree. D. The poet found a plant and he planted it. 4. Which tree do you think the poet planted? 5. List down the benefits of a tree.